Hello, so let's look at the official balance change that you can find on the Forgotten Empire homepage. This will basically showcase the changes that came with DE, and this is mostly focused on the, balance itself, the old civilization, stuff like that. And then afterwards, we will check out the tech trees themselves. So, if we scroll down, general, new barrack technology, supplies, militia line cost minus 15 food. I'll talk about that a little bit more since it's going to be down there as well. Tracking now automatically researched in feudal age for free. I think this is okay. It doesn't really matter that much, but I guess man at arms just becomes a little bit better. So I think this is just a nice addition. I mean, it never got researched like ever, so just giving them for free, I think that is completely fine. Elite Scrimgeour upgrade cost increased from 230 wood, 100 gold to 230 wood and 130 gold. So basically, the Elite Skirmisher in the original AOC it wasn't used that much, and then they kind of buffed it, lowering the cost, and now they're basically buffing it. Nerfing it and making the cost more expensive again. So I think this is okay. Like 60 resources is not that big of a deal. I don't think that this is gonna impact game that much, meaning that people who will want to go Night Skirm are going to go Night Skirm. I just think it's a little bit nice. I mean, we're talking about few unit change, so I don't think that this is going to break or change the game any way particularly. So I think this is kind of a little bit meaningless as well. I mean, it is obviously more costly now, so you will have to calculate the extra 30 wood and gold in, which is a little bit more, but nothing too crazy. Herbal medicine effect increased by 50%. This is okay because basically what happens now is that you can heal up your army with a few monks and stuff if we're talking about the late game. But again, the tech kind of never got used, so I think Byzantines have them for free. So with Byzantine, it would kind of be okay. But with other civs, I just don't think this is ever gonna see play, unless we're talking about like a specific smush or something like that situation. Palisade Gate armor decreased to 0 while under construction. This is actually super huge, right? Because now there was a scenario where you would put the gate down and then you would just not build it, like leave it at 90%, and then it would be very, very tanky. So I think this is good since we see Palisade Gate used a lot to quick wall, and I think it's okay because in my opinion, Palisade Gates does get used to fix mistakes, right? So decreasing the armor to 0-0 basically means that mistakes get punished a little bit harder because the gate is weaker. So I completely agree on this change. Next, we have Palisade Gate cost increase from 20 wood to 30 wood. I also think this is fine because, again, Palisade Gates did get abused. You would just like wall your whole side with like 3 gates and then wall behind with houses and stuff. And I just think that should not really be a thing. So if you make them, 10 wood more expensive in Dark Age, that actually does matter quite a bit. Probably in late feudal and castle, it's kind of whatever, but in early Dark Age, like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 8 minutes, I think this actually is a really, really nice change to make the Palisade Gate a little bit less effective together with the armor decrease. Watchtower HP reduced from 1020 to 700 before Castle Age. So, I absolutely love this. I really do love this because I think Tower Rush just became too much of a meta in a lot of games, and this is where I'll give my subjective, not really that objective, thought process because again, I really did not like Tower Rush. In my opinion, it was a little bit too one-dimensional and a little bit luck-based. But obviously, at higher elo, it did get used, even in tournament games and such. So I think this nerf still allows for Tower Rush to be effective. But what happens now is basically the towers are weaker, so fighting towers against towers is gonna be a little bit easier. Taking them down with villagers and man at arms will be easier. So I think that just nerfing it like this is completely fine because it's really hard to nerf towers. You can't really nerf damage or range without completely ruining it. But this is really, really nice because if you can wall it in, it still gives the purpose. It's just weaker if you cannot wall it in, right? So I think this is okay because even on defense, if you have like a palisade wall in front of it or something like that, it is still fine and doable. So if we're talking about the defensive purpose of the tower, it probably won't change much. mostly just about the attack and, you know, the famous all-wind rush play that is going to get nerfed, which in my opinion is really, really nice. Lead battle elephants attack reduced from 16 to 14. Not much to comment here. Elephants are a very niche unit, but they're very cost effective, especially in team game. In 1v1 they're actually not that crazily OP, but in team game, for example, if you're playing Burmese, let's say you have 60 pop military instead of having 60 cavalier or like 60 Arambai, if you can have 60 elephants cost effective, they can easily trade against 100 cavalier or something like that, right? So that is why elephants are really, really strong in team game. I think this is just a small nerf that should balance their crazy damage output in melee range. So I think this is completely fine, not going to change much. Like if you want to use them, you use them. So it should be okay. Drydock and Berber ship speed bonus no longer reduce gold per trip for trade cock. I guess this is kind of a nice one, but I actually haven't seen trade cocks used in any sort of team game except free for all, so I don't think that really matters. Eagle Scout -1 line of sight and search radius in Dark Age. I guess this is okay. I mean, this kind of nerfs aiming a little bit, which is okay because you could easily scout with the Eagle compared to the Scout, and then you would just go and lame the boar and or lame villagers, which is even worse. So I think this is okay. You know, just gonna take you like extra seconds or extra effort to scout. So again, not a big deal. Trebuchets now deal damage after packing or getting destroyed. This is something that I personally like. This has saved me so many times when you see a treb shooting and then you immediately take it down, but now that's not gonna apply. In my opinion, this makes more sense, obviously. Like, if we're talking full logic, this is completely fine. If you fire the bullet, it should go through. I mean, the fireball, or whatever you call them, right? So I think this is a good fix because it makes absolutely all the sense in the world. It is going to hurt in some situations, but again, I think this just makes a lot of sense. So I think that's fine. Fixed issue, fixed issue, fixed issue. Okay, that's whatever. So let's get into the civ balance now. So first civilization will be Berbers. Elite Genitors receive +2 attack versus Spearman line. I think this is really nice because that was kind of the biggest problem with Genitors. They were very niche against archers, but against Spearmen they were really, really bad even compared to Skirm. Especially if you consider that Halberdier do kill anything on a horse way better than Skirm, right? So I think this is okay, just, you know, gives the Genitar a little bit more ability to be played in a trash war, which I think is really, really nice. Britain's Werewolf cost increased. I think this is completely understandable. Werewolf Trebs got abused so hard, especially in closed maps like Arena or Ghost Lake, you know, even good map Arabia's. Like, it's a very, very strong deck, and if you can get it so cheap in Imperial Age, you can basically win almost every Treb war, which I think is just a little bit too crazy. So I think this is okay. Now you actually have to invest what 1k 200 resources to get it, so I think that's completely a nice trade. Gonna put this into like a more mid to late imp deck instead of early imp. You get it and then you just kill 2-3 castles from your opponent and then game's basically over. Franks cavalry plus 20% HP bonus, only available from feudal. This is basically understandable. Kind of nerfs the scout fight for Frank, which I think was kind of stupid because you could never engage them. So basically what happened is if you would you know, get into a really nice position with your scout, you could definitely abuse the opponent's scout. So I think this is okay. Just makes a little bit more, you know, the fair Dark Age. Franks are already basically a tier 1 civ, so I think just nerfing them a little bit in Dark Age for their scout is completely understandable. Slingers, -1 attack, reduced from 5 to 4. I guess this is okay. Like, I don't think this matters much against infantry anyway. Overall, I think this is kind of okay. They will do worse versus mangonels, especially now. But other than that, I don't think that their purpose is going to change, which is basically to counter infantry. And if you want to counter infantry with them, I think the 5 to 4 range would be fine. They will struggle a little bit more against siege, like mangonels and such, and they obviously struggle against archers already, so that's okay. The Genoese crossbowman revolt time reduced from 3 to 2. This is interesting. This could be super strong, right? Because Genoese crossbow is a good unit. It's just that it's kind of slow and it's really hard to get, right? So maybe instead of doing this, they could have tried reducing their elite cost a little bit, or increasing their production time to like 3-4 seconds. But this, I honestly just gotta see this in action a little bit more to see how big it actually is. Like the reload time reduced from 3 to 2 doesn't really tell me much, but this could be really, really nice for Italians. I mean, Italians are a good civilization, but this unit is kind of in a weird spot. Again, it's very, very niche use, but it usually, especially in 1v1 even, it's just super hard to get them fast enough to actually do damage to the Cavalier and stuff like that. And it's also really hard to kite with them, because again, they were so slow. Maybe this will help that. Fix the issue, fix the issue. Okay, receive Fate, receive Hussar. Hussar I think is okay. That's just good for trash war, obviously. Receive Fate, that helps their elephants a lot, so I think that's gonna be good if we're talking about elephants against monks. Receive Hussar is kind of a nice addition, I guess. Khmer is a little bit underused. They really don't excel at anything except elephants. You know, like they have Arbalest, now they have Hussar even, they have Cavalier, but it's like they're just very basic, you know, no real eco bonus as well that's super strong, so yeah, they kind of just, you know, become kind of like a lower tier civ, which they will still be. Koreans. Receive military units except Siege Workshop, cost minus 15 wood. This is huge, right? This helps their flank play a lot, so people will go archers instead of towers now. This buffs war wagons. I think that's really nice, but they gotta be careful so war wagons ain't super broken. The problem is that their water play now becomes really strong. So on hybrid maps where you can do ships and you can do archers, this is good. This is really nice. I mean, you can compare it to units that cost a little bit less gold, right? Like Portuguese. But this is a really, really nice one. They lose the fortification build faster, that's okay. I'm just thinking that this might maybe need tweaked down to 10% so they don't become really strong on maps where you can abuse wood units, but I think it could be okay. Probably just needs some testing. I mean, 15% is quite a lot actually. War wagons are super cheap now. Oh wait, Harbor's minimum range increase is 1. Okay, so basically you can still kill them if you go under them. Okay, so it's basically like a castle, that's whatever. Okay, so they got nerfed, but this, okay, so basically they got buffed a little bit for ships and nerfed a little bit for the units. Okay, that's okay, I guess. I haven't really seen them use that much as well. Forced levy changes gold cost into additional food cost instead of removing it. I think this is okay. Like, this just kind of makes them so you gotta invest a little bit more into farm, but the unit just costs more food instead of costing food and gold. I guess one thing to think about would be if forced levy itself maybe just isn't good enough, or maybe lowering its cost, because it's just a very hard tech to get, right? Because either you will end the game in early imp, or you gotta survive till you get like full blown post imp so you can actually do the two-handed swordsman. Oh shit, I'm actually stupid. Yeah, the cost got decreased. I'm actually stupid. I didn't read that. Yeah, this is completely fine then. Like this is a nice balance because this is super expensive. Like you won't get that in a normal game. It's really hard. Malians receive fast fire, lose Galleon. That's understandable. Malians don't have bracers, so Galleon is shit for them anyway. At least now they can kind of be really, really consistent on water with fast fire. So this is a really, really good change. Mongols. Okay, this was an issue in DM, basically. I think. Yeah. Okay, Persians. Town center and docks work 5% faster in Dark Age. So you basically get an extra bill in Dark Age. That's really nice. Boiling oil replaced gold. Okay, yeah, this is good. I remember people were talking about this. Yeah, this is good because like a crossbow with bracer is still a pretty nice crossbow. So especially against halberdier, you know. So I think this is okay. Like boiling oil was useless. This is nice. It gives them extra one will. Again, they're gonna be even better on Nomad. It gives them extra one will even on random land maps. But I just think overall Persians will be really, really consistent on water and Nomad. and a little bit better on Arabia, so that's fine. I like that they're like buffing this. I think that's completely fine. Like Persians were kind of a little bit lower tier, all over the place. Saracens. All archers except skirmishers now deal +3 bonus versus buildings. So you're basically buffing it almost obsidian arrow wise. I don't think this should have been done, or could have probably been +1 extra. Just think it might be a little bit too busted with early crossbows breaking walls in 3 seconds. Especially since their market now costs even less. It costs 75 wood now. So you can I mean, okay, 25 wood's not a lot, but it's really weird, right? Because they can abuse the market for fast crossbow, and then you would just destroy all the buildings in 2 seconds and break in and kill your opponent. Maybe this should have been a little bit less, but I think Saracen was a completely fine save. Yeah, buffing Mamuok is super nice because this never gets used, like ever, unless it's like team game. Elite Mamuok delay reduced, that's nice. You can kite with these easier, and Halberders don't kill him in 3 seconds. That's completely nice. I do like this because it kind of gives them a little bit, better, better pick options to not go only Arbalist but actually go Mamuok, which again never gets used. Spanish elite conks. I'm not sure if does this mean both or does this mean only elite. Receive damage from anti-cavalry archer attacks, so they're weaker against cam archers now. That's super nice. Missionaries heal as quickly as normal monks, that's okay. Affected by husbandry. Okay, so we might see them get used, but I kind of doubt it since they can't really pick up relics. So this is okay because conks were really strong against, cam archer and such. So I think this is an end kind of okay. Like it nerfs them a little bit, but conks are still gonna be conks. So I think it's a nice nerf versus certain civs. Slavs receive fate. Receive free supplies instead of tracking. Ooh, that's actually really good, right? That means that I mean, it only applies in feudal, actually, yeah. So it doesn't matter that much because it only applies in feudal, and if you're doing man at arms, you're gonna be making militia in the Dark Age. So basically, it only applies if you're doing champs. So basically, you will save 250 resources mostly, which is kind of okay, but not that big of a deal. If they would get it in Dark Age, I think that would be pretty broken. But obviously, you don't want to make Slav more broken, so I think that this is okay. I mean, it's like 250 resources spent. I mean, saved, so it's okay. Farmers work 10%. Okay, finally this got nerfed. This was just way too strong. Like, nothing could ever compare this. I think this is completely fine. With boiler trading time. Yes, finally. Another unit that's kind of unrepresented. Just doing this is really nice. You don't break the unit, you just make it more accessible. Teutons receive herbal medicine, murder host herbal medicine free. Oh, okay. That's nice. Kind of buffs their smush a little bit. Teutons is in a super rough spot right now. Vietnamese receive husbandry. Okay. That's nice for elephants, obviously. So I guess good elephants for them. Paper money cost reduced. That's okay. I mean, more wood. Oh, it doesn't cost gold now. Okay. Yeah, this is fun. This is good in team games, obviously. Give yourself gold in 1v1, but yeah. So supplies I think is a pretty okay one. It just buffs champions indirectly. I mean, okay, kind of directly, but it could also buff longswords, but we kind of never see them. So I think this is okay. It just buffs champions, which do need some love. So I think it's okay. You kind of save a little bit of food. Let's say you make 100, then you would obviously save, 1.5k food, which is pretty okay. So I think it's nice. Champions are really underrepresented as well. So overall, I think really good changes. I do like them a lot. I mean, it's mostly just, buffs a little bit to a lot of civilizations to bring them to that higher tier. And, just some little bit niche nerfs to stuff. The tower change, absolutely love. The palisade as well, you cannot abuse it that much anymore. So just a lot of, quality of life changes, make the civs a little bit more balanced to the other civilizations, and nerf towers and walls a little bit. So I think this is pretty good changes, and I do like them a lot. I think most of them are pretty reasonable. So let's go to the tech trees now. Okay, so let's look at the tech trees now. I will go over obviously the new civilizations and their tech trees and what I do think about them and how they would play out in certain maps. So first we got Bulgarians, which is an infantry and cavalry civilizations. So basically already the supplies kind of knocking in, it is infantry civilization and cavalry obviously. So militia line upgrade free, town centers cost minus 50 stone, can build Creepos, unique unit. Okay, we'll get over all of these when we get to that. So, militia line upgrade free, we can already see that they don't have champions, so you basically get a free two-handed swordsman upgrade, and they also have halberdier, which is really good in trash war, obviously. Not having champion is kind of okay, you don't really see champions get played on that much, but what is really interesting is militia line upgrade free, which basically means that you can do 3 militia, go up to feudal age, and then you can just get man-at-arms when you get up. So, what does this mean? First of all, you save all of this upgrade you need to get the man-at-arms, which is 100 food and 40 gold, as you can see here. So that's 140 resources saved. You could compare it to something like Ethiopian bonus, which is basically plus 100 food and 100 gold. But few things you have to think about is, first of all, this applies immediately. So what does this mean? This means that you can send 3 militia out, you can get the man-at-arm upgrade immediately, and if you're playing against scouts, you can queue a spear immediately, so that is a really nice bonus, for example. The second thing I can already think about is you can just not go on a mining camp, and then what you can do is you can do like 20 pop man-at-arms or like 21 pop man-at-arms because of the free man-at-arm upgrade. All you have to do is collect 10 gold in the Dark Age, and then you can easily transition into scouts. And that's really strong because you can't really do that with a lot of civilizations, right? And that is really nice. You can do man-at-arms, then transition into scouts. They already have bloodline, which is really good, which means their castle age knights are nice. They also do have hussar and paladin, so that's really good in team game. So yeah, that is a really niche strategy. Other than that, the militia line doesn't really fall anywhere much. I mean, man-at-arms work on every open map in 1v1, and it does work on flank in team game. So that is where you would want to abuse this. I guess even in like a 4v4 Arabia team game, if you're flank, you probably want to abuse the militia line upgrade free, and then you can do man-at-arms and transition into archers. They do not have crossbow, man, so that's really important, because if you want to go archer, you will be forced to do cavalry archer, which basically means that if you're playing a 1v1, the man-at-arms into scouts make even more sense, because you probably want to go knight skirm, because again, no crossbowman does hurt quite a bit. Okay, so if you look at the other stuff they got Tumbling, Parachute, and Tactics, so they have fully upgraded heavy cavalry archers, they have elite skirmishers, and they don't have cannoneers, and they don't have arbalest. So overall, their archery range is not that great, unless we count the cavalry archers. Their infantry line is also pretty weak. They do have halberdiers, so again, trash-wise, they're pretty okay with the scrim halb, but we're talking about army camp and gold units, we see that no champion, no arbalest, no hand cannoneer. If you go to the right side, we have the stable, which is basically a full stable. I mean, no camels, obviously, but they have hussar and paladin, so that is super strong, husbandry, bloodlines, all that good stuff. Their siege actually is super amazing. They don't have bomber cannon, but they also don't have hand cannoneer, so that's understandable. But look at that freaking siege, man. We got full siege ram, full siege onager, and heavy scorpion. That is absolutely amazing. I think Bulgarian is actually a beast civilization in the team games. Like as a pocket civ, this is super strong civilization. Full siege, paladin, hussar, really amazing. Full blacksmith except ring archer armor, which basically kind of puts them in a weird spot to do heavy cavalry archer. Like, you can definitely do it, but even having ring archer armor does suck if we're talking about fighting archers or even skirmishers. So I think that actually is another red white of doing heavy cavalry archers. If we look at their unique unit, it is going to be a conic, which will be a cavalry, and then if you look at the unique text, it's going to be light cavalry and conics attack 25% faster. So I guess this also applies for hussars. I actually hope it applies for hussars, right? Because that probably should apply to hussar. And then Bagain's militia line gains +3 armor. So that basically puts them. Okay, I'm gonna open it just to compare. If we open, for example, Malians, which are in a pretty similar spot, they have +1 for mage. So that basically puts them in the same spot as Malian champs, and we kind of know those are not that good. And we also know that Bulgarians don't have champions, so I think that Bagains is probably not going to be researched that much, unless you want to abuse it in early imp. Meaning what you would do is you would actually just go full longswords and castle, then you would get imp, get 2 hands immediately, get this upgrade, and just raid the shit out of everything. But that's again kind of niche, and we probably won't see that often being played. Team bonus blacksmith work 50% faster. I think this is a pretty good one actually. I think in team game it might be even better, for example for some fast crossbows or stuff like that. In 1v1 as well, I think this is just a really nice bonus to have. I mean, it's nothing crazy obviously, but I think just, you know, saves you a few seconds here and there, so probably will work nicely in a few games. If we look at their dock, nothing too crazy. They got Galleon basically, and they got Cannon Galleon, which is really nice. They don't have fast fire, so basically the typical Galleon Cannon Galleon combination that they can do on water. Nothing much to talk about here. If you look at their university, no fortified wall, no arrow slits, no treadmill, no bomber tower. I mean, the bomber tower is kind of understandable. They also don't have BBC and HC. No treadmill and no arrow slits doesn't really matter that much. No fortified wall is okay as well. Nothing much to talk about here. And then if we look at their unique unit, it is the conic, which basically is going to be a horse, which does have pretty similar stats to a knight. I'd say it's a little bit better than a knight, and problem is it doesn't have a lot of pierce. Doesn't have a lot of pierce armor. Yeah, it only has 1 pierce armor, which is 1 less than a knight. So against crossbow, this will be a little bit weaker. But what happens is it's gonna be a unit that will transform once it dies, right? I think this was it, right? Once it dies, it transforms into a melee unit, but I guess we can't actually see the melee unit stats, but I assume it's going to be something like a Wong Swordsman. So these are kind of like boyars in a way. They're really nice against other infantry units, but not that good against archers. So I think that this won't get played much unless you are fighting some strong melee civilization. Other than that, I think it's like kind of a niche unit again that will be used in few spots. The good thing about this is that if they are somewhat decent against infantry, you can easily dismount, and then the dismounted longswordman will be able to kill a halberdier, for example. So against those, they're pretty okay, I'd say. But against archers, they don't seem that good. Yeah, they're definitely lacking the armor in comparison. I mean, the elite is kind of okay. The elite with full upgrades are definitely okay. But the Castlevage one is not good. So in imp, this could replace a cavalier for sure. But since they do have paladin, I don't think you would want to do that. Their monastery is super bad. Missing sanctity and atonement is really bad. They do have redemption, so this might get used, for example, in nomad or something like that. But you can't really smush because, again, it's kind of meh to do this. And then we have Creepos, which is basically a small castle, right? So I think this is a pretty nice one. Right? Because since their town centers cost 50% stone, a little 50% less stone, I think that having something like this is really nice, because what you can do is you can basically go for cheap TCs, get a little bit of stone in the feudal or dark age, and then you can easily build a Creepos to make Comnix. So for a pocket play, if you don't want to do knights, I think this is okay. This could be good against, you know, a Meso Civ who's going ego. I think that's probably the best actually. Yeah, Meso Civ that's going ego, or like against Franks who are a very, very heavy knight civilization, stuff like that. So I think this is going to be okay in team game. In 1v1 this actually might be super broken, so I guess we will have to see how it goes, because it's super cheap, which basically means you can build it in anyone's face and then just start making army out of it. So let's see if this will be or will not be broken. Other than that, the civilization seems to be pretty strong. Don't have too much on guilds, but again, that's not really game breaking. Do have both of the gold upgrades and crop ration, so their post in Pico is even pretty okay. Overall, I'd say this is a really strong unit. Really strong cavalry unit even. Does have halberdier and skirm, so can definitely fight in the trash war. I just think it's really nice because having paladin, hussar, and the unique unit being cavalry unit means that this could be a really strong pocket civilization that can do a lot of damage all over the place. So overall, pretty nice civilization, especially with the man-at-arms, allows them to survive because of the lack of crossbow as well. So I think that man-at-arms into scouts might be really a strategy that should be tried with these guys. So let's go to the next civilization, which is going to be humans, and then humans. What do we have with these babies? Cavalry civilization. Additional town center can be built in feudal age. Siege workshop and battering ram available in the feudal age. Cavalry 10% faster starting in feudal age. So let's look at these three first. So their tech tree kind of seems mediocre. Again, no arbalest. Do have champs and halberdier. I'm just gonna check the blacksmith techs real fast. Okay, no bracers, so their heavy cavalry archer is completely useless, so we basically take all of this out except scrims for trash. Champions and halberdiers pretty okay. I don't think you're gonna use champs with them since they are a cavalry unit, but halberdier is fully upgradable, so that is really nice for the trash wars. They do have camels. Don't have heavy camos, but I do have paladin and hussar, so really good stable as the last civ. As the Bulgarians basically, and Steppe Lancer. So I basically saw this unit, and since it has +1 range, it is super strong in clunked up spots. It's really nice. So I did actually see the Zerumpers video on this, and if you guys want to just check that out, it is super nice video. But I think these will probably get nerfed quite a bit because they're just way too cheap. They should probably be more similar to the cost of the knight. I think Elite Steppe Lancer is really good if you're low on gold. It's really good against our range units and other melee units. So I think that this will be interesting to see how this develops, but I think this is a really strong addition, again in team games, even in 1v1. So yeah, all of these new civs have really nice stable and really nice siege. Again from this, you got Siege Onager and Siege Ram, so yeah, having Paladin and full Siege is absolutely crazy, as well as having full Halberdier. They do miss Bracer, as I said, so Cavalry Archers just out of the window. Do have Galleon and Fast Fire, so Galleon probably out of the window as well. Their water is not that great, only can do Fast Fires. If we look at their university, they're actually missing a lot of good techs. So no Siege Engineer means that their Onagers or Siege Onagers won't get used that much. No guard tower, that's okay. Murder holes, masonry, ballistic chemistry, well, they do have all the important ones, obviously, but yeah, their towers and castles definitely not their strong side. If you look at the Kipchuk, it's a cavalry archer with a rapid fire attack, strong versus infantry. So, from what I saw, it's a super squishy unit that can die to like arbalists because of the short for range. But it's super strong if it can get into your face. So I think that the way to stopping this is basically just trying to stay out of its big ass range. Other than that, I think it's a super cheap unit which can easily get massed, and then you can definitely do a lot of damage. But again, I haven't seen this unit get tested out as much to give, you know, a true out opinion on it. White cavalry and cavalry archers train 80% faster, so we kind of know on cavalry archer it won't really matter. White cav, this is good for trash spam. It's kind of similar to the Frank stable bonus, but it's super cheap, so I think this is really good if you just want to spam a shit ton of trash. Team receives 10 free elite Kipchak and Castle. This is okay in team game. This is super nice in team game. So I think like just gonna be really nice, get extra 10 units, why not? So I think this is really nice in team game. Small bonus. Their monks are pretty good in Castle Age, full tech in Castle Age really nice. Their Imperial Age definitely does lack quite a bit. Do have Heresy and all the good stuff you need, so overall their smush in Castle Age seems to be as strong as you would want it to be. Eco upgrades, we can see they have all the imp except stone shaft mining, so pretty nice strong eco civ. And overall their team bonus balanced rolls 50% HP is actually insane as well. I think this is gonna help out in team games quite a lot, obviously in 1v1 as well. So overall, a really strong civilization, same as the last one, but again, very specific oriented on the cavalry. So again, you gotta look out on how they can deal if they want to go for that full cavalry tree. The additional town center can build in feudal age. I did see already this get used in some games in arena and stuff like that. I think it's something to look out for. I would say if the map is super wallable, this might be really strong. The siege workshop and battering ram available in the feudal age. I think this will basically work only if we're talking about like a full trush and trash games. I don't think it will actually work in like a very serious game because I just think it's quite a lot of investment. If they wanted to make something like this work, I would have just made a bonus where you can build cap tram in Castle Age. I think that's super pog. But other than that, yeah, the additional town centers in feudal age, I think that just needs to get explored a little bit more. But I think that it might be strong on some closed maps, or for example, if you want to swing, it's super broken probably as well. So I think this will somehow need to be adjusted a little bit if swing or really wallable maps become a thing. For example, even like Black Forest, right? That just sounds super strong. Feudal Age 2 TC, that's crazy. Okay, let's go to the third civilization, which will be Lithuanians. Go to the beginning. So, Lithuanians, man. I'm from Latvia, so these are basically my brothers. Start with 150 food. So I already saw Hera and some other bunch of other people do the famous 3-4 minute rush, which is like super broken when you think about it, because you can deny the boar, the deer, and force your opponent to get womb and wall. So the investment is pretty huge, and the reward might be pretty huge as well. I think this might be really strong at the middle level. At the high level, people can probably react and wall fast enough. At the low level, people probably can't execute and micro the militia good enough. So I think it's a pretty okay bonus. Might be too broken, might not be. Gotta see if it actually helps on anything else except the crazy 3-minute rush. Spearman line and skirmishers move 10% faster. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't talk about humans. Cavalry is 10% faster starting feudal age, and they have camels. So I have no idea how you're gonna battle 1v1 cavalry against these guys, or try to kite them with archers. I think that might be really strong. 10% faster, you get husbandry. That's gonna be so hard to micro against them. So this is definitely a civilization you wanna go full cavalry with. That's super crazy. Okay, back to Lithuanians. Spearman line skirmishers move 10% faster. This is super nice in Trash Wars. Like skirmishers in feudal age, really nice. Also, spearmen moving faster is good because it basically means that what is going to happen is that it's going to be harder to micro with scouts against them and stuff like that. So I think this might be a really nice bonus in the feudal age. I think in castle and imp it's probably a little bit less strong because those units are not mounted obviously, but I still think micro wise this will be a nice bonus, especially in the feudal age. Each garrison relic gives +1 attack to cavalry units, maximum 5. So it's good that it's maximum 5. I think this is gonna be really nice because this will kind of make people get relics faster. I don't think it's broken because you could compare it to the Aztec bonus, which basically is obviously more gold, which is super, super strong. So I think this is okay. It just kind of makes you prioritize relics. You could compare it to the Aztec bonus, so I think this is completely fine. Unique. Okay, let's just look at their tech tree a little bit, then we can talk about the unique units. So, no Arbalest. I guess none of these civs are gonna have Arbalest. It is a cavalry and monk civilization, so again, full tech paladins. You got halberdier and champions. So looks like another one of those full cavalry civilizations. No so no siege ram, so a little bit more mediocre siege. But they have hand cannoneer and they got BBC. So that basically means that this civilization is a little bit more gold expensive. You know, going BBCHC Paladin is very, very expensive combo. They do have pretty okay blacksmith. They are missing the last armor upgrade, which means their halberdiers are a little bit weaker and their champions basically suck. But they have bracers, so their trash war is pretty okay. And again, they have HC and BBC, which allows them for a little bit better play against halberdier and 1v1 against other civilizations. Because in 1v1 it's super hard to get paladin, so HC Cal BBC is a combination that a lot of civs like Teutons and Persians tend to go for. So I think that's the category in to which this civ kind of falls into. Fully upgraded galleon, fast fire, and elite cannon, super super strong. Obviously, no shipwright though, but super super nice dock for this one. No siege engineer, but that sucks for BBCs. But again, they don't really have good siege anyway, so definitely sucks for BBCs against civilizations who have it. But other than that, won't impact much. Bomber towers, so obviously helps on niche maps and team games mostly. Okay, unique unit Lattice. Lithuanian unique cavalry unit with attack that ignores armor. Ooh. Good against Boyar. Good against Paladin. Good against something like that, yeah. I don't think it's that crazy actually. I mean, it's cheap, kind of like a cheap Cavalier, but I don't think it's that crazy strong. It's gonna be again very good against very specific units, and then against units that don't have high armor, I think it's gonna be okay. I guess one point is you don't need to get armor upgrades. So I think against Cavalier, they will trade actually pretty decent. So that's something to think about. Down centers received +3 range. This is super strong. This is really nice upgrade to get in Castle Age. If you want to go for extended Castle Age, this is really nice. It's gonna kill a lot of things. And Pikemen Skirmisher receive +1 Pierce armor. Well, they don't have the last armor upgrade for their Pikemen, so this is a nice replacement for that. Yeah, this one they don't have. 1 armor per skirmishers doesn't really matter that much. I think there's just a nice niche upgrade for Crash Wars. They do have a full monk tree, so on arena this is gonna be super nice, especially the 150 food. You can do faster uptime. But yeah, monasteries work 20% faster as well, so their monk tree is definitely really strong, which is nice to see. Here, typical eco. I mean, they're missing gold shaft, but other than that, they have a full imp one. So overall, another strong cavalry civilization. Again, they are a little bit more flexible with the HC halberdier and BBC combination, but other than that, just seems like another strong cavalry civilization. So that's interesting to see. Okay, let's keep going. And then we got a last one, Tatars, which is a cavalry archer civilization. At least that's how they call it. So no arbalest again. So let's look, what do they have? Hand cannoneer as well, heavy cavalry archer. Obviously, it's in the name. Heavy camo as well. No paladin, so really strong cavalry still. No paladin obviously hurts, but heavy camo cavalry archer. That's a really nice one. Hussar as well. And they have the Steppe Lancer. So overall, I'd say that's really good. Sijam and Onager. So Sijam definitely nice if you're going heavy cavalry archer. Onager is obviously okay as well in some situations. If you look at their blacksmith, their infantry completely sucks. So their halberdier, oh, they don't even have halberdier, yeah. So they actually might struggle a little bit. This kind of reminds me of something like Saracens, I'd say. Heavy cavalry archer, camels, something along those lines. No halberdier. So their infantry is just not usable at all. So the problem with this unit is, I already see, it's very gold crazy, right? So you would have to go heavy cavalry archer like Hussar or Camo and try to get Siege Ram to end the game because their trash war does not seem to be that great without Halberdier and basically uses infantry. Okay, so heritables contain plus 50 food, so that means that sheep and all that stuff that you can take, like sheep, goat, whatever. So this is good. I mean, it just helps them to do a nice uptime. Units deal plus 25% damage when fighting from higher elevation. So that's gonna be super strong in 1v1, less strong in team game, but in 1v1 this might be super broken, especially if you want to kite with a heavy cavalry archer. So the civ is kind of built in a way that wants you to kite around with the cavalry archer and abuse the high ground as much as you can. Partial tactics free, that's just a nice thing because it does cost, I think, like 400 resources or something like that. So that's just a nice little imp bonus. This is a nice eco bonus as well in the Dark Age, so that's really nice. And let's go here. So yeah, they have full blacksmith except the infantry, which we already discussed sucks. They have basically really good dock, so that's all good. I mean, not gonna go over, it's kind of self-explanatory. Missing architecture, do have siege engineers, so that's really nice for them. They don't have BBC though, so for siege ramp, I guess that makes most sense, and the onagers. And then we got the Ketchik, which is a Tatar unique unit that generates gold when fighting other units. That's okay. I'm gonna just look at the imp version. Yeah, this is basically a little bit more expensive Cavalier. I guess it's kind of okay. You can definitely raid with it. But again, these units just are kind of like Cavalier replacements. So I guess they will have their niche use. But other than that, I think that unless you have a lot of castles, you will just go Cavalier or heavy camo. Light cavalry and cavalry archers receive +1 pierce armor. So this is super strong in Trash War because stars are going to be really strong against DCs, castles, and skirmishers, and even Arbalest. And cavalry archers will do a little bit better against Arbalest as well. So I think this is a really nice one. Will help out the heavy cavalry archers. And this one is trebuchets receive +1 range, which is kind of okay. I don't think that's a big deal. Trebuchet range was always kind of decent, but I guess it's just a small little thing. Monastery completely awful, so no smush for these boys. And eco seems to be kind of okay. No 2-man sub, but no stone shaft. So team bonus carry archer +2 on the side. I guess this helps a little bit with trading. Other than that, I don't know. This actually seems like the weakest from the new civilizations because okay, they have the extra pierce armor, but that's it, right? Like if you compare it to Megir, these are still kind of pretty basic heavy cavalry archer. 1 pierce armor will help against Skirm and Arbalest, but that's basically it. They do have hand cannoneers, but no halberdiers, so can't really do the hand cannoneer help BBC combo. But this one actually feels like probably the weakest one, I would say, from all the new ones. No paladin, okay heavy cavalry archer, but kind of seems like a unit. I mean, maybe the Steppe Lancer is super strong, but other than that, unless their unique unit is somehow strong as well, which doesn't seem to be the thing, this does look like a civilization that struggles in post-imp. I mean, maybe with Hussar raiding, but still against halberdiers, skirmishers and other Hussar, they might struggle a bit. So it does seem like a pretty specific civilization. Go heavy cavalry archer and camo, try to win. If you can't, GG. Like siege ram, heavy cavalry archer, and Hussar, second option basically. But it does look like the civ struggles against really strong units like paladins and such. So I guess this might be actually the weakest one from the new ones. But yeah, definitely just giving a little bit of an insight and opinion on how it's going to be played out. I haven't actually played with all of these new civs myself. I am currently just grinding the ladder as we speak. And yeah, I mean, give it a few months and then people will figure these out, obviously. You can't just tell how the sim plays out by looking at the tech tree. But other than that, pretty interesting civilizations. I think that Bulgarians is probably my favorite from these. I mean, free man at arms, super pog, you know, cheap TCs, like their pocket play is crazy insane. If you think about it, really, really strong pocket play. Um, wait, wrong one. Killmans, I think this is a very niche one with the feudal age stuff. So I think if you can somehow make the 2TC into like, you know, even scouters or something like that work, it might be nice. But if not, I think this civilization does have very specific maps where it excels, other than having Paladin, obviously, because you always want Paladin in team game. Other than that, I think that their unique unit might be super, super nice if you can actually mass it because of the rapid fire. So I think that Paladin plus this unique unit is what makes this civ strong. Bulgarians, for example, their unique unit is very specific, kind of like Boyar. You want it against infantry units, basically. And then if we round it up for Lithuanians is a really nice monk civilization and a really, really nice cavalry civilization with the alternative of HC Hell BBC combo. And then Tatars is kind of a very specific cavalry archer hussar siege ram civilization, which in my opinion will struggle against quite a lot of civilizations. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the tech trees. If you have any questions, just leave them below, and that's gonna be me. So Kowalski's out, and I guess see you next time, guys.